Hi. So my name is Ryan. I want to tell you a joke about a bear and a rabbit who go walking through the woods until, as happens in jokes, they find a lamp. One of them rubs it, out comes the genies, they both get 3 wishes. The party starts right away. The genie says, Bear, what would you like for your first wish? And the bear's like, oh, how about all the bears in these woods, except for me, are girl bears. And the genie makes them all girl bears, except for him. Rabbit, what would you like for your first joke? And the rabbit says, I want a helmet, And a helmet appears, and he's got the helmet. Bear, what would you like for your second wish? And the bear's like, oh, let's make all the bears in those woods girl bears. And they all become girl bears. Rabbit, what would you like for your second wish? And the rabbit's like, I want a motorcycle. And a motorcycle appears, and the rabbit's like, brum, 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 brum. Bear, what would you like for your third wish? And the bear's like, well, I want all the bears in the world, except for me, to be girl bears. They all become girl bears. Rabbit, what would you like for your third wish? And the rabbit's like, brum, 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 brum. I want brum, 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 that bear brum, 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 to be gay. Brum, 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 brum. A lot of coffee today. A lot of coffee here. It's been an adjustment. I grew up in America, lived there, worked there, drank coffee there. Come to Italy, everything is different. In America, you work a lot. You work long hours. People take work so seriously that they don't even talk on their cell phones at work. Sti pazzi, come lo fanno? Lo so. It's crazy, and it's crazy, but it's true. You go to work, you work long hours. When it's time for a coffee break, you go to a Starbucks or some monstrosity like that. You get a big, tall coffee like this, and you sit down and you sip on it for a half hour or more. And then you go back to work, and you work hard again. In Italy, things are different. In Italy, you get to work, you say hello to all your friends, there's baci all around. Ah, ciao, come stai? Io sto bene too. And then everyone has their little chats, and then you have a cigarette, you hang out for a little while. When it's time for your coffee break, you run to the bar, you slam an espresso, and you hurry back to work so you can relax again. A little bit different how they do it here. I've also noticed some cultural differences for British people. They're always telling me about a problem they have with German people. And apparently this problem comes up a lot in the vacation resorts and on the cruise ships, because when the Brits wake up in the morning and they go out to the pool, they find that all the deck chairs have towels on them. Because the Germans have woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning, immediately place their towels there, and they go off and do other things. Okay, I admit, we don't know if it's true that Germans are there at 6 o'clock because there's never anyone there to see what time they're there. But when the Brits get there, all the chairs are taken and they get mad. And they look at the chairs and they're angry. And they spend 1 month on vacation, and then they spend 11 months talking about how the German people took all the seats at the resort. American people would never have this problem, because when we go to a resort, we sleep till whatever time we want. And if we go outside and find all the chairs have towels on them, we move the damn towels and sit in the chairs. No problem. Now it's true, it could happen that a little bit later some angry German guys come out and say, hey, you've stolen our chairs. All the Americans have to say is, hey, you back off and just remember 1945. Right now the Europeans in the room are all laughing except for the Germans. The Americans are thinking, what's so important about 1945? Now the Germans will be laughing too. Do you ever find that some people just get too familiar with you, especially if you have a cool job and they want you to do your job for them? It's just how I'm a tour guide, and it happens to me. I was waiting in line at a tourist resort, at a tourist attraction one time, and I was wearing a shirt that happened to have the name of a tour agency on one side, and it had my name on the other side, and I was just standing there. Some lady lying behind me sees my shirt and says, hey, I see you're a tour guide. Tell me something. That's just not right. I got really upset. You can't do that. You can't find out in conversation that someone's a masseuse and say, hey, can you help me get the knots out of my back for me? They're going to put some knots into your head for you. You can't go walking down the street and find a nun and go up to her and say, would you please beat me over the wrist with a ruler? She's like, honey, I'm not working right now. You can't just go and do that. So this lady asked me to tell her something. Just because I was a tour guide, I got mad. But then, the spiritual happy part of my life, of my brain, kicked in. And it said, you know what, you have the ability to help her, you love helping people, and you're a tour guide, really, it's your duty. So I did it. I told this lady everything, when it was built, who it was built by, why it was important, an exciting story. And then I said to her, lady, I'm a tour guide, and I've just done my duty, and I see you're a woman. Blow me. She had the same reaction you guys did. Do you guys hear about the John Paul II impersonator here in Rome? He's been, this is true, he's been on Via Gloria Imperiale, he's dressed up as the Pope, as John Paul II, and he was taking like donations, people were leaving money. He got arrested. And what he got arrested for it was amazing. He got arrested for usurpation of title. As a native English speaker, I had to look it up to find out what usurpation was. It turns out that it is the wrongful seizing of sovereign power, of royal power. That's what they arrested him for, and that's fascinating. Because they didn't arrest him for impersonating authority figure. They didn't arrest him for faking it. They arrested him for actually becoming Pope. You think he's guilty? Who knew it was so easy to become Pope? In related news, actually all of the comedians of last month's Rome Comedy Club also got arrested. When they arrested the John Paul II impersonator, they said the problem is that he just looks too much like John Paul II. Last month, all the comedians got arrested, and the police spokesperson said, the problem is they look too much like the Italian Parliament. The police took one look at us, and they were like, maledetti grillini, arrestateli tutti. And away we went. Funny sides to that story. Before the show, I was rehearsing that joke right outside here, my Berlusconi joke, and then I looked up, realized I was standing underneath Berlusconi's home. Luckily there's windows so we won't be around for the rest of it. Folks, how many tourists does it take to screw in a light bulb? It takes 3. 1 to stop and ask someone for directions, 1 to screw in a light bulb. The third one to write an angry review to TripAdvisor about the hotel saying, why'd I have to change my own damn light bulb? How many prostitutes does it take to screw in a light bulb? Just 1. Light bulbs are easy. But what's really amazing is when she makes it light up. It'll settle down. How many Catholic priests does it take to screw in a light bulb? Are you kidding? Catholic priests don't screw light bulbs. How long did it take Silvio Berlusconi to screw in a light bulb? He tried and he tried, but it wouldn't work. I think it's because the light bulb wouldn't take his money. What is the similarity between Silvio Berlusconi and a Catholic priest? Well, they're both white-collar criminals, and if you visit them while they're working, they both believe it's a sacrament if you take the host in your mouth. Speaking of Silvio Berlusconi, he's had this terrible demotion recently. He's gone from being prime minister to prime puppet master instead. So he's got some extra time in his personal agenda right now. He signed up for an international spelling bee. It was an amazing event. He was competing against George Clinton and George W. Bush. Imagine the spelling bee. Berlusconi, Clinton, and George W. Bush. Who wins the spelling bee? Bush does. He's the only one that knew harass was 1 word. Folks, I'm Pax Ryan. You can find me online at youtube.com/PaxRyan. Thanks for coming out.